My dear young friends, particularly those who have been graduated today, respected Chancellor Adarniya Sridharji, Pro-Chancellor MP Kumarji, Vice Chancellor Yashwant Dongreji, co-founder of Infosys Adarniya Chris Gopal Krishnanji, both the Registrar Joshi ji and Registrar Evaluation Nair ji, dignitaries on the dais, deans, sisters and brothers. I know that this is a very special day. Definitely the most special day for young friends who have just received their certificate, the degree. But no less exciting and joyful day for those who had a dream. Dream of creating an university at par. University which can compete with any university in the world one day. The university which is rooted in Indian knowledge heritage and striving at achieving the excellence in the world. I congratulate all of you who had that dream, maybe during the pandemic time, and you have achieved the first step by organizing this first convocation. And definitely you are very wise people that you have chosen a Nobel Peace Laureate to set the benchmark for the future. So undoubtedly, the future of this university would be written in the golden letters in the history of India. Let me begin with a very important but very appropriate prayer of Yajurveda. It says, Yam medham deva ganah pitarascho pasate taya ma madhya medayagne medhavinam kuru swaha. Oh, my Lord, God, Ishwar, bless us with the most creative and innovative form of intellect that is called medha. Bless us with medha. Medha is that intellect for which our ancestors and all the devas, means the good doers and givers for society, have been trying to attain it. So we are praying for that. But when we pray, internally we take a resolve that this creative and constructive, innovative intelligence would be our path for the future. And the mantra also says, Medhayagne medhavinam kuru. This medha is fire. The fire which can enlighten the world. The fire which can enlighten our inner world as well. So today, all those young people who have received the degree and who are going to receive the degree in coming years, they are the living Medhagni. They are the living fire of knowledge, fire of intellect to illuminate the world. So I congratulate you first of all, my dear young friends. But I would also like to express my deepest honor and respect for your parents, your mother, your father, your family. I am directly addressing to you, the graduates and young friends, students, that this is, as I said, very special day because it is the day of your changed identity. You were a student of this university until this day, and tomorrow you are, or today onwards, you will be in jobs, you will be leading businesses, you will be leading society, and you will be in different positions. Today you are holding this degree. But the degree means a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude begins with the God who is solely responsible for the creation. Then the gratitude to your mother who has given you the birth. She was your first guru, the first teacher. And your parents, relatives, and so on. This is the day to express your gratitude to the first teacher who taught you alphabet, who taught you how to write 1, 2, 3 numbers, up to all the teachers, the professors, the deans, the chancellor, vice chancellors, everybody who has worked in the university. Also, those who have built this building, the electricians, masons, the people who provide you food, who grow food which you eat, those who have stitched cloth which you wear, the house they built and you live in. A long chain of gratitude. Gratitude to everyone, the sweepers, the chokidars. Once you go back, if you learn gratitude, I promise you that you will remain a great human being with humility, without arrogance. Whatever you achieve in life, if you are grateful to all those who are responsible to bring you to that place, you will grow more and more without any ego. So today is the day of gratitude. Today is also the day of assuming new responsibility. Responsibility to your family, to your neighborhood, your responsibility to Mother India, to the motherland. As Rama says in Ramayana, Janani Janma Bhumischa Sargadapi Gariyasi. We have to be grateful, but we have to be responsible for every single citizen of this country. For the culture and heritage and values which are rooted in the divine knowledge which has brought to us by our rishis and our saints for thousands of years. Gratefulness and responsibility. But we cannot ignore, we are interconnected and interdependent world. So we are responsible for whole humanity, entire humanity. If some extremism or violence take place in one part of the world, then other part of the world cannot be unaffected. So we have to have that bigger mental horizon and feel a sense of responsibility towards the entire humanity. Planet and people both. When you go back from here today, have a greater sense of responsibility. I have one more thing. When you are taking this fire of Medha, the fire of knowledge back home, to illuminate the world, enlighten the world, there is again a mantra in Vedas. It says, Agne naya supatha raye asman dev vayunani vidwan yudhyas johran meno bhuistam te namoktim vidhem. Oh, fire within me, the fire of knowledge and wisdom. Take me to the path of righteousness. Take me to the path of good. And please protect me from all those sins which are the obstacle to attain that path and to walk on that path of righteousness. That is something which our masters of wisdom had lived with, not just preached, and gave us the eternal lessons, not for Indians, but for the entire world. And it also says in Upanishad, Agninam Agnihi Samidhyate. When the fire is burning, when a candle is burning, then you need not to, or the candle need not to explain, candle need not to prove that she is burning. She is burning. The light is self-evident, light is self-proof. So from now onwards, when you leave the university and go anywhere, as a burning candle, you have to be proof that you are an alumni of Chanakya University. You are carrying this big responsibility. So, dear friends, I can have a 3D advice to you. I'm not asking you to watch 3D cinema wearing the glasses, big glasses on your face. My 3D is solely my own learning of life. I am not a priest or a teacher, but as someone who is living with certain values and certain principles in life, without caring who says what and who does what or what not, I bring these 3Ds mantra. So my first D is dream. If you are free to dream, why do you dream small things, little things? Dream big. Dream even bigger. Dream the biggest. If you are in politics, why you dream to be elected as MLA or the chief minister of this state? Dream to be the prime minister of the country. Dream to be the president of this country. If you wanted to join the international organizations, United Nations, dream to become the United Nations Secretary General. Dream to become the biggest scientist. Dream to become, if you are in corporate world, sky is the limit to dream. So dream big, dream biggest. But those who dream for themselves, they are not going to create a history of good. They are not going to make this world a better place. They can achieve anything in life if they dream big, associated with some other things, which I will tell you later. But history is always created by those who have courage to dream big and not confined to themselves, but for the larger society, for the larger world, for the betterment of humanity. They make this world a better place. Dream big and dream for betterment of all. I tell you, my story. I was born in a modest family. My father was a police constable in Madhya Pradesh police, but he passed away when I was young. My mother was totally illiterate. She has never been to school. She could not read and write. But both of them had dreams and determination and a resolve that their children must achieve best quality education. My eldest brother studied hard, got gold medals in his universities, and one day he was the district educational officer in Madhya Pradesh. And I am the youngest. They had a dream. And they have given us dream to think big. I would also like to share that our house was a modest house covered with the मिट्टी के जो कबीलू होते हैं, the mud tiles. So before every rainy season, we have to repair those tiles. My brothers, me, my father, nephew, everybody used to it was very difficult to climb up to that roof, which is very fragile, and then repair it properly. But even then, during the rains, the water will seep down. And many a times, we had to run in our room to change the places of our beddings and other things, books, the whole night. And next morning, we have to climb up again and fix those kabelus, the mud tiles. I was not so fortunate to buy a new woolen coat. So my nephew, who has been mentioned here, he retired as the Vice Chancellor also in Madhya Pradesh. So we had to go to a market of old woolen cloth in Bhopal. I was born and grew up in Vidisha, which is close to Bhopal. And then we had to buy very, very cheap woolen clothes, and then we had to fit them and wear. But I had a dream. I was living with the dream. For me, the dream was my goal, my path, my torch, the power in my legs, and in my heart and minds and soul. I was marching on it with my dream. And the first dream came to me. That was the first day of my school. I went to my very ordinary school. I saw a boy my age sitting at the doorstep of that school. Cobbler boy, my age, about 5-year-old. And I got disappointed, and I asked my teacher that, sir, why a child is sitting outside the school gate and not with the rest of us in the classroom? He said, calm down, this is your first day, make friends and so on. But when I came back, I saw the boy still sitting under the open sun along with his father, both cobblers, shoe shiners. I asked this to my parents and other people. Everybody had similar arguments that these children are poor children and they have to help the families and they have to work and earn some money. So one day I gathered all my courage while coming back from school and stopped and asked this same question to the boy and his father. Boy was shy, but father stood up with folded hands. He said, बाबूजी, मैंने तो कभी ये सोचा ही नहीं. मेरे तो बाप दादे यही काम करते थे. I've never thought about it. My parents, my grandparents, everybody started working like this since they were children, and so is me and my son, he said. And then he was holding his hands folded. And he said, बाबूजी, स्कूल जाने के लिए तो आप लोग होते हैं, हम तो यही काम करने के लिए पैदा हुए हैं. I could not hold myself. I was 5.5 years old. I started crying. I was a great believer. My father had taught me Ramayana. When I was 15, 16 years old, I was reciting the entire Ramcharitmanas. I remembered almost everything from Ramcharitmanas, every single chopai, doha, sortha, chand, everything. In all cants, almost. So, I was born in that family. So I believe that we are all children of one God. And God cannot be so meager, so unjust. It is we, human beings, who have created these discriminations and these things, the caste systems and whatnot. I started thinking in that direction. So, when this man standing and said, I started crying. Because I have full faith in God. I still have 100%, 200% faith in God who inspires all of us. So I could not do anything, but every morning and afternoon I used to see that boy. But then this was the first spark of my dream, that every child should be free to be a child. Every child should be free to go to school, as I go to school. Every child should have a dream. And the entire universe, if supports to fulfill that dream, it is great. But universe has no right to create obstacle in the path of dream of that child. Every child should grow. And then you have heard about or read about my journey. When I planned to organize this global march against child labor in 1998, everybody has laughed at me. I was not a politician. I was not inclined or linked with any political ideology or party or anything. My drive was my spirituality. My drive was my soul. My drive was my own cultural values of India, my motherland. So I had no resources, but I decided that I'm not someone who can simply chant Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I believed that ayam nijha paroveti ganana laghu chetasham. Udara charitanam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So we have to believe in the oneness of the entire world as family. Then we have to not just talk, but think and act. Only then we can apply the knowledge and wisdom and teachings of our rishis on earth. So we organized the Global March. Very difficult, very difficult. I cannot explain, but you can read somewhere. Nobody was agreeing on this crazy idea. But slowly, people started supporting. And we went across 103 countries. We covered 80,000 kilometers distance physically, which is double than the periphery of the earth. 71 presidents, prime ministers, and kings and queens joined physically in the march to support this idea that every children should be free and get education. It never happened in the history of humankind. I am not the one who believe in making big advertisements and branding and marketing and all kinds of things. So people in my country and other country never knew that something was happened, something was born from India, which has resulted in the international law of United Nations to stop this heinous crime against humanity. That was the power of the earth, of the land of this country. We did it. So, dear friends, dream. And second thing, which I have already spoken a little bit, given you the hint, discover. Discover the power. Rishi says, Tattvamasi, that is you. Student says, Aham Brahmasmi. Student says, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am that ultimate truth. I am that ultimate absolute bliss. I am the absolute consciousness. That is our power. That is our power. We are not ordinary human beings. God is not too stupid that has sent you on the earth without any purpose. But dear friends, something which most of us could not find in our life is that thing, purpose of life. We choose smaller things and we say, oh, this is our purpose. I've achieved. I've become an engineer. I became an engineer. I taught in the university. I was one of those rare engineers those days, in 70s, who passed out as a specialized person in high voltage transformer design. But I gave up my career after teaching. I'm giving back to some students for 1.5 years. So, dear friends, discover your inner power. Discover the opportunities outside you. World is filled with opportunities. India is aspiring to become higher and higher. But India is also the country which says, Sangachadhum samvadadhum samvo manansi janatam. Let us walk together. Nobody is left out. Nobody is left behind. Let us talk in the tongue, one tongue, the tongue of oneness of humanity, samvadadhvam. And let us create a knowledge, samvo manansi janatam. Let us create a knowledge which is knowledge for all, knowledge by all, knowledge of all. Just one phrase, sanjananam. Sanjanana means construction of collective knowledge or community construction of knowledge, which becomes the knowledge by all and knowledge for all, democratic knowledge. That discovery you should have. And the third D is when you can dream, when you can discover, then the third simple D is do. Do. Act. You can be a great dreamer. You can discover yourself and become sannyasi one day without doing anything, just talking and talking. You can become a priest in any religion. But if you can ignite the inner power of your followers, and if you can take them along, that is to do. In any walk of life, the action which is driven by righteousness, righteousness. Dharma is not. हमारे यहाँ पर धर्म is not something which has to be practiced only in your dogmas and your traditions. It is good because they can be the path to reach out to dharma. It is not panth. It is not religion. Dharma is different. Dharyati iti sa dharma. Something which holds you, the holder of humanity is dharma. That is the universal thing. So when you do, take action to attain, to realize your dreams with righteousness, where you do not create badness around you, and the path of goodness will lead to the goal of goodness. You can achieve anything in your life. History is not written by those who just clap sitting on the fences or criticize a player standing on the fences. History is created by those who have courage to jump inside the ring without worrying too much for failure or without being too obsessed about the victory. That is something has to be done. Today is your day to dream. Today is your day to discover yourself. Today is your day to start a new life. Don't sit idle. Do it. Learn from everywhere. Our Rishi says, Ano bhadra krituvu yantu vishwata. Wherever the goodness prevails in the world, our minds, our hearts should be open to receive it and learn from. That is something which has been written here, said here. Dear friends, once again, I would congratulate you all, and I would congratulate and thank entire university and the dreamers sitting here. Let us walk. If Indians cannot lead this Agneya Path, the path of fire and light, to enlighten the world, who else will do? And that is the reason I have launched this new initiative, new movement for global compassion. We have to build compassionate leadership in all walks of life. We have to build compassionate leadership in academia, where the academicians can feel the problems of their students as their own problem and solve them with a sense of moral responsibility and moral accountability. We have to create the compassionate leadership in medical profession, where the doctors and patients' relationship becomes the compassionate relationship, where doctors can feel and act with a sense of moral responsibility and a sense of urgency to heal and treat that patient. So is in the police, so is in the political system, everywhere. But since many of you are going to be the leaders in their own communities, I hope and I wish and I bless that each one of you should emerge as a compassionate leaders, and the compassion is rooted in the soil of India. Don't think that you are weak, you are poor. You have no resources. One day, heavy fire broken out in jungle. All animals and birds were rushing for a better, safer place, including King Lion. And Lion noticed that there was a tiny hummingbird flying straight towards the flames, towards the fire. And he surprisingly shouted, "What are you doing? Committing suicide? Come back." The tiny bird answered, "Sir, I was born and grew up in this country, in this place. I cannot leave it like that. So what are you doing? She said, I am going to extinguish this fire. More surprisingly, he asked, how come? She answered, Lord, look at my beak. Meri chonch ki taraf dekho. I am carrying a drop of water. I am carrying a drop of water. I am doing my bit, she said, and she flew. I am calling upon the hummingbird inside you, you and you. We are born in this land. We owe a lot of this, lot of things to the humanity, to our motherland. Ignite the spark of compassion. Awaken the hummingbird and do your bit. Do your bit. Sangachadhvam samvadadhvam samvo manansi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve sanjananam upasate.